This video is brought to you by John Robson Guitar Tuition. If you enjoy the content, please consider supporting the channel by enrolling on a course, purchasing some guitar lessons or a t-shirt, or you can join my Patreon. Now, on with the show. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. It's all about this guitar today. This is my PRS S2 Standard 24 Satin. It's a guitar I've had a little while now, and I just thought I'd give you a bit of an update on how it's settling in. Before we go any further, a little bit of housekeeping. That piece of music there, in terms of the guitar tones, it was the Marshall DSL-1 combo on the classic gain channel for the clean and sort of lower gain sort of stuff, and for the higher gain solos it was the same settings, just flipping over to the ultra gain channel. So there you go. And of course, as usual, there's a full tab for that piece of music in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats, along with a clip of me playing it and a jam track for you to play along with for yourself. It's all up on my Patreon page. You can see the address there, and the link is in the description. $3 or £2.50 a month gets you access to all of these additional resources and goodies that go along with these YouTube videos. A massive thank you to everyone who supports me in that, or any of the other ways, all of which are also linked down below. Yes, so a little bit of an update on this guitar, how it's settling in. And well, basically the story behind it was the predecessor to this guitar was another PRS. It was a PRS S2 Vela, which I'd been very curious about since they came out in about 2015. I thought, oh yeah, that's going to be a bit good, isn't it? You know, kind of humbucker, fixed bridge, what I thought was going to be very P90ish neck, single coil. That on paper that should really appeal to me, and it did. But when it materialised, it just never really kind of lived up to expectations. I found it to be a very thin sounding guitar that just didn't really, I never really bonded with it, so I sold it and made a little bit of a profit. That's kind of what I do here. I buy guitars and I make videos with them like this one, and then I sell them on, sometimes a little bit after hanging on to them for a little bit too long. And somewhere along the line, factoring in the YouTube revenue, you know, there's a profit to be made, and, you know, keeping the lights on around here. So that was the plan with this guitar, but it's probably going to be hanging around for a little while, hence why I'm doing another video on it. It's got to earn its keep, basically. So I wasn't sure I was going to like this for many reasons. First of all, I just had a bit of a disappointment with the Vela, and I'm thinking, that was the first ever S2 guitar I'd ever played from PRS. I'm thinking, well, is that sort of representative of the S2 range of guitars? So there was that kind of thing factoring in. I'll be honest with you, the reason why I bought this guitar was because, again, it was advertised for a really good price. The guy was open to offers, so I put in what was kind of a borderline cheeky offer, and he accepted. So there you go. Got a good deal on it. But yeah, I'd been a bit disappointed in the Vela, and the other thing is that, like, all PRS guitars I find are absolutely exquisitely built, fantastically put together, but they often, in my experience, lack that indefinable something that makes you want to just reach for it rather than the one next to it, And there was also the thing that, reading up about the bridge pickup in this is in this incarnation of the guitar from 2016. These have the HFS bridge pickup, which is a monster of a pickup, about 14k DC resistance. And I'm thinking, yeah, I'm probably going to have to swap that out for something a little bit calmer and more vintage sounding. But gradually, playing the guitar and using it, and and recording with it and using it in the odd video, it's won me over. The controls are incredibly simple. Let me just point the camera down. Unlike the PRS 408 that I reviewed recently, with a little kind of fiddly mini switches and everything, too much of a faff about, frankly. This has just got a master volume, a master tone with a coil split on it, and a three-way selector that, I don't know if you can hear that, but it's got a really positive, well-engineered feel. And within the scope of those simple controls, you can capture up, or you can conjure up rather, a whole breadth of sounds. On the bridge humbucker at the moment, bridge pickup at the moment on humbucker mode, with the tone dialed back to about 7, and to my ears, this gives a really, really good vintage Les Paul sound, sort of Blues Breakers era Clapton. I'll show you what I mean. See what I mean? It's got that really kind of Gibson-y kind of flavour to it. That a lot of guitars with humbuckers, you think can get close, but this really, I think, nails it. And then with just, well, let's leave it on the bridge pickup and dial the volume back. Pull out the coil split, tone full up. And suddenly I've got kind of jangly, fendery sort of sounds. See what I mean? I mean, you're never going to kind of think, oh, that sounds like a Telecaster, but it'll fit in a mix in the same way as a Telecaster bridge pickup will. Go to the neck pickup, and you're kind of into that sort of luscious, liquidy, warm, kind of Hendrixy, single coil neck pickup, stratty kind of tones. Middle position on the coil split, you've got again something that's again it's kind of borderline, I think, where it would fit in a mix in place of a piezo acoustic sort of sound. Let me just dial it in. Here we go. And then, you know, all the usual sort of stuff from just a regular twin humbucker guitar. The lovely kind of middle position setting. You know how some people always talk about a Les Paul in the middle position has something of a whiff of a Telecaster about it. Well, that tends to for me there as well. And then neck position, volume full up, tone about halfway back. You again, Clapton references here. You're back into that sort of woman tone kind of tone. And all the while there, I've not touched a pedal or a foot switch for the amp or anything. From the clean, strummy sort of stuff through to the, you know, the kind of more overdriven sort of stuff. That's all just, you know, coming from the guitar, just that using the volume tone controls. Massively versatile guitar from a very simple control layout. Also, what's kind of, you know, a big thing for me on this is this thin satin finish. You know, some guitars with like the gloss finish look like beautiful pieces of wood, don't they? But you pick them up and you can't tell whether you're holding wood or any other material. It's you know, this you can actually feel. There's enough of the kind of texture of the timber under your fingers that it just really feels like you're connecting to this big lump of wood in a very kind of satisfying way. The neck profile is really nice as well. It does. I said I was expecting the Vela to be a little bit like me old Gordon Smith. Well, this one kind of is in terms of the neck profile. Gordon Smith do two neck profiles. They just call them kind of thick and thin, I think they call them, you know. But I can't remember which one it was I had, but this feels very familiar and reminds me a lot of that. I'm sure if you kind of A-B'd them side by side, you'd kind of think, well, yeah, they're completely different, but it matches my recollection of that guitar. The other thing I like about it is the looks. You know me, I'm not one for sort of ostentatious looking guitars with all kind of dripping in mother of pearloid and kind of gold plated this, that and the other. I don't even really like the PRS birds usually, which is another kind of selling point for me on this. Another reason why I bought it, because it's just got the dot inlays. It's got a really kind of charming understated look. It's kind of that scratch plate against that colour body. It's got a whiff of Gibson SG about it, perhaps SG kind of meets Strat, that sort of thing. And, you know, in terms of, I don't usually use a trem on a guitar as well, but this one is very satisfying to use. It'll do the Hank Marvin kind of warbles quite nicely, you know, the kind of, oh, let's clean the sound up a bit. There we go. The kind of, you know, you can play Apache with that kind of trem, but you can also, you know, kind of, and you're still in tune. You can do some fairly aggressive stuff with it as well. So it's nice to have the confidence of knowing that when you do kind of get into those sort of shenanigans, that it's going to cope with it. Without a doubt, I'm going to stick my neck out here, without a doubt, this is the best PRS that I have ever played. I've played plenty of SEs, I've played a few core models, and this is the second S2 one that I've ever had. And the thing is, you know, this guitar, I'm not going to tell you how much I paid for it, but I got a good price on it. This guitar used cost me roughly the same as a brand new SE guitar. Okay? And if you're in the market for a PRS, then just factor that in, okay? Just factor in the fact that you can get something which is, I think, you know, kind of, much, much better. I was trying to think of a fancy way of saying it there, but a much better guitar, much nicer guitar, much more versatile guitar, much more satisfying guitar to play than the SE guitars, which are fantastic guitars, but this is just better, I think, for about the same sort of price as an SE if you're prepared to look around on the used market. Now, the elephant in the room is, because I'll address this now because many people tend to pull me up on it. John, you've got a signature model guitar. Why do you kind of play other guitars instead of that one? Well, because I like guitars, and you know, the signature guitar Blondie, which you're kind of very familiar with if you're a regular viewer of this channel. That is the guitar that would pass the BB King test, you know, the run back into the burning building to rescue it test. But you know, it's a guitar. It's not a marriage. You know, monogamy isn't mandatory when you're playing guitars. And I just, you know, I enjoy playing different guitars, and just, you know, a change is as good as the rest. And I would say on average that Blondie is the one that I keep going back to more than any of the others. But the silver medal position, I would say this guitar pretty much has it now. And it's making me begin to question of whether I really need me Les Paul or not. Watch this space on that one. I suspect the Les Paul's going to kind of hang around for a while because it's I waited 30 years to get one. But with me kind of logical head on, then this can do everything the Les Paul can, really. So, Anyway, that's the video for today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you found it useful and entertaining in some small way, and if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so. Drop me a like while you're at it. Don't forget the live stream tomorrow, in fact every Friday, 5 PM UK time, where we drink beer and talk about music and guitars. Great way to kick off the weekend, and I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.